My thoughts are, well, for one, I don't know what they're doing to ensure any transmission. Could it be done? Maybe. I mean, it would be a very arduous and detailed process. You'd have to have people taking tests, and you'd have to create certain. I don't know. I mean, if I would think even at the end of it, you would have to almost set up a way for each person involved in it to do their own quarantining afterwards before they can even go back to wherever they. It seems like more trouble than it's worth, but I also understand that there's a lot of people now that are either in dire situations financially and necessity, or even as an athlete in a non-material way, where they've put all this time, effort, and energy, and they've created what they feel is this peak moment for them as a physical competitor and for opportunity to now lose that. Something that you can earn money, you can purchase a lot of things, but you can't buy that. These things are moments in time, and when you will have them is very limited, or I should say hard to predict, because every fight camp, well, in general, every fight camp, you feel like you're going to go out there and show your best version of yourself. And you could have a fight camp that feels mediocre and perform outstandingly. You could have a fight camp that felt fantastic and perform marginally. So there's so many little variables that can't be accounted for. And to lose what could be one of your best moments, and honestly, a way to sort of stockpile your funds so you have that cash to sit around if you're not going to be fighting for a while. I feel for them. I got sicker than hell in Hawaii the morning, I would say, because it was like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. I woke up with the chills and the sweats and a high fever. And, as my understanding that the Wuhan coronavirus may have been out in the public as early as November, and with the high amount of Chinese tourism to Hawaii, maybe I picked it up there. Of course, then again, we're such a globally connected world. I mean, any asymptomatic person could travel to Japan or anywhere, and you could have picked it up, maybe got hammered by it, but not end up to the point of needing ventilators and what have you. And then, moving around about feeling like you got sick and just got over it. And I guess, honestly, you did just get sick and got over it. And so I think the severity of the virus is more in its contagion element and in its transmissibility, and the fact that you could have it for 2 weeks potentially and feel nothing and know nothing. And so it's this sort of ninja virus that it's not like SARS where you get hit with it and boom, you're hammered, and then people, okay, you're sick, you got SARS, get him off right away, he's done. Versus, nah, it's nothing, and you're shedding virus all over the place. The other thing is, after that, I immediately had about everything anyone could think of done to me that day. IVs, vitamin injections, everything. And there was just no way I could get in the ring. I was just so debilitated. Afterwards, I did come down with some bronchial type stuff and had it hanging around for, I think it was probably a good 3 weeks before I was ever really clear of everything. Now, I don't know really what that means exactly. I mean, it could just be whatever, because my sinus passages, I have to be more diligent about doing saline rinses and things like that, because they're all caved in. So at some point, I'm probably going to need to have surgery. And so as it is right now, I think I get more sinus related stuff than I should. But I figured no point to fix my schnoz as long as I'm getting bashed in it. And as for March, bureaucracy, and I don't really understand. It's just a big cluster. Everything was A-OK, and then not. And so I don't know. All I know is that there was nothing more that could have been done for me and my management to make the fight happen, because everything was above board from the very beginning. There was nothing surprising, nothing new, nothing unusual, and all of it was nothing was being operated, nothing was done without anybody already knowing, understanding, and being okay. So whatever they decided to change in terms of medicals, that's their choice. So there's not much we can do about it. Mike's one of the reasons why I even decided to push into acting, take acting classes, and make more serious efforts towards it, because he kept pushing me and pushing me and pushing me to do it, and just insisted that it would be something that I would excel at and that I could do. And so when a chance came around to do something with Mike, with Never Back Down, No Surrender, I leapt at it. For me, it was a great opportunity to do a co-starring role, but it was also really awesome to be there with a person who's had so much faith in you and who's such a good friend of yours. That it was probably the kind of circumstance you don't get to have all that often in any kind of business endeavor you do. So Mike is wonderful. Mike is like the brother from another mother, because we have the same birthday. We have a lot of common interests, and he's got such an amazing family with Gillian and the kids. And we shot this sizzle reel years back for this thing called Outlaw Johnny Black, and we wrapped up on that towards the end of last year as well, in November, I think it was. So, for me, it was, to begin with, it's like, hey, yeah, whatever you need, man, let's put this thing together. Let's get the funding. Let's get more Michael Jai White projects out there, especially stuff in the vein of Dynamite. And then when it all came to fruition and the money was there and the production was there, it's like, all right, well, what do you need me to do? He sent me a handful of roles, and I read some, and I just wrote back to him like, well, these ones sound interesting. Which one? What do you want me to do, man? How do I help you best? And he just said, oh, you're this guy. Done. Had a blast, had a wig on. It was a pretty, it was a pretty fun time, and a loose set in the structure of what we were doing there somewhat. But I just look forward to doing more stuff with him. And whatever, Steven's still out there making movies too. So I wouldn't be surprised if, at least because of my working with them before, Bin Dang and Keone Waxman, I could see myself doing more of those films. If it does, I hope it's back in Romania, because I miss Bucharest. It's a beautiful city. Mike is a legitimate martial artist. His ability he knows how to box, he knows how to kickbox. Obviously, you can see his karate stuff online, and he has trained grappling, and he is a incredible physical specimen at that. He's not looking to become an MMA fighter. He's not putting his eggs in that basket. If he had wanted to, I'm sure he would have been hell on wheels and someone you didn't want to deal with. The ways he can change direction so quickly and so explosively, mid-strike even sometimes. Let's say like with his lead leg, and using it to either hook, roundhouse, straight, side kick, what have you. I mean, his side kick can cover the amount of distance that you just don't expect. And like I said, the man has hands too. So he's the real deal. He's not someone that you would ever want to take lightly, nor think that you could just simply take him down and put him on his back. I partnered up with Cespa Creek Distillery to create a bourbon with them. They were already making one called Warbringer, which is pretty fitting for me to get in bed with them in the first place. It's a mesquite smoked bourbon. You can get it from warbringerbourbon.com. And you could just click on the old Warmaster link. And if you use Warbringer 10 and if you use the code Warbringer 10, you'll get $10 off.